Hey friends, Junior Staggs with Auctioneer University, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be one of the sponsors of a brand new show that's going to be produced by my friends at Brewer Street Mafia and Kell Media. It's called SportsCast with Jammie Buckelew. It'll be recorded live every Sunday night at 7:30. So if you're into sports, I like Alabama football. Maybe you're a Tennessee fan. Maybe you're into one of those foreign sports like soccer or cricket or rugby. I'm sure he'll cover it all, from local sports to professional sports and everything in between, every Sunday night, 7:30. While you're at it, go over there and give him a like. And if you're thinking about becoming an auctioneer, check out our website, Auctioneer U. That's auctioneer, the letter U.com.
In a world that moves way too fast, there's one place that feels like home. Tater's Place in Paris, Tennessee, where the sizzle of a smash burger meets the sound of laughter, and every plate tells a story. Bring the family, make memories, and taste the love in every bite. Live music, real people, and unforgettable food. That's Tater's Place, 3615 Highway 79 North. Find the flavor you've been missing at Tater's Place. Come and feel what you've been hungry for.
And good evening. Welcome to SportsCast. I'm your host, Jeremy Buckelew, and thank you for joining in tonight. I want to say a special thanks to our sponsors for bringing you SportsCast each and every week. Thanks to Tater's out on the Lake Highway. Encourage you, again, it's one of our normal stops that we go to on, especially the Sunday after church. We'll go out to Tater's, get a smash burger, some cheese curds. But listen, it's so much more than just a restaurant. They've got a bike shop, so if you've got a motorcycle that needs some work, you can take it out there, drop it off, get you something to eat while you're there waiting, or just go out there and enjoy the hanging out with friends and having a good time. And so I want to thank Tater's for everything they do for SportsCast, and then to Junior Staggs as well at auctioneeru.com. If you want to learn to be an auctioneer, there's nobody better to learn from than Junior Staggs. And actually, Junior will be a guest on the Mike Weatherford Show this week on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And so I encourage you to tune in for that, to hear about his book that he has written, From Song to Page, with Junior Staggs, and they're going to have a special guest host for that as well. And so I encourage you to tune in for that, and thank you to those guys for sponsoring and bringing you SportsCast every week. We're excited. Hope you've had a good week. It's been a busy week sports-wise, a lot of opportunities to get out and see the kids play and do that stuff. Spring sports rec leagues have started up, and, of course, regular spring schedules for high school sports is going strong, and a lot of opportunities to get out and support these kids in your neighborhood, and encourage you to do that and go out and watch some ball games when the weather's pretty like it has been. Got a great show for you here tonight. I'm really excited about the guests that we have. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them now. As over here on my left, very familiar face to Henry County sports and just Henry County in general, Officer Rodney Littleton joining us tonight. Good to have you with us, and glad you could make it to SportsCast.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Glad you're here. And then over here on my right, we have Miss Jammie Adkinsson works at, I know her from the Henry County Central's office, Board of Education, but does a lot of work community-wise too with the program we're going to talk about here tonight. And so, Jammie, welcome to SportsCast, and glad you're here.
Thank you.
And then y'all have brought some guests with you. Why don't we go around and have y'all introduce these young men and tell us who they are?
Okay, so we brought 3 of our Special Olympic athletes tonight. These were 3 of our state champions from basketball, but they're also involved in track and field. And so I have LaDracus Sneed over here, and then I have Jimmy Holt right there, and then I have Brody Cruz right here beside of me.
So, guys, welcome to SportsCast. Are y'all excited to be here?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yes,
Good. Kind of. Hey, I appreciate the honesty. That's all right. No, that's great. I appreciate the honesty. LaDracus, we're glad you're here, bud. And we're going to talk about the work y'all do with these athletes here in just a bit. But I know most of the folks in Henry County are familiar with y'all, but we're trying to reach a broader audience as well. And so there may be some folks that are tuning in for the first time tonight. It's like, I've seen those folks, but who are they? So, Rodney, I've known you a long time. I met you back when you were still doing patrol. Now you're the SRO out at Henry School. But tell the fine folks a little bit about Rodney Littleton.
Well, born here in Paris, Tennessee. Of course, my name's Rodney Littleton. I worked at the sheriff's office. Like I said, I was born here in Paris, Tennessee. And before I started school, we moved to Detroit, Michigan. Lived up there for several years, and then we moved back here when I was in the 3rd grade. Started playing football when I was in 7th grade. Of course, we played sandlot football and baseball, but started playing at Grove, played 2 years at Grove, and then I played all 4 years at the high school where I was I also played with Coach Counts, junior and senior, of course, was my coach.
Right.
And we started out rough as freshmen. I mean, we did good as freshmen. Our freshman team was really good. And then sophomore and junior year was pretty rough, and our senior year we 8-2, 2nd place in the district to Dixon County, who I never beat. Oh, that kills me. But you know, and then of course once I graduated high school, I went to Lane College for a year, and I decided to come home and go to work. And of course I've been working ever since. I started at the sheriff's office in 2002, and I've coached Pop Warner football. I coached that for 20 years. I've coached Caps basketball. I've coached Little League baseball, travel baseball, middle school baseball, middle school basketball, and I retired. I didn't hang up.
Semi-retired.
Yeah, just semi-retired.
Come on,
semi-retired. So, but I love coaching sports and coaching the kids, and I've always said that you know, somebody did it for me when I was growing up, so it's only fair that I pass that along to some other kids.
I forgot to even get to this point. Every week we try to start the show with the best thing I've seen this week. And so since I've got you right now on the mic, what's the best thing you've seen this week?
Well, for me, the best thing that I've seen this week, when coming home from work and seeing my grandsons out in the backyard playing and hitting baseballs and playing in the sand and in the dirt and just having a good time out there.
Nothing beats it.
That's right.
Nothing beats it, I'm sure. Glad to have you with us. We're going to come back to you here in just a second. Jammie, tell the fine folks a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised here as well in Henry County. I was Jammie Walker growing up. My late husband's Rodney Adkinsson, and so sports has always been a part of my life from being very small, watching my brother play ball and always at the ballpark. And then as I got old enough, I played softball growing up until I was 16, 17. I decided I wanted to work and couldn't do travel ball at that point. And then I became a sports mom.
Right.
So my son played just about every sport growing up and being right there. And then when me and Roddy got married, then I became a coach's wife. Okay. And my life kind of revolved around that between being a mom and he was still playing, and then Roddy coaching football and basketball. And so it's always been a part of my life, and it's just something that's really close to my heart. And I may not be able to get out there and play anymore, but I definitely can put in with these guys and help them to be the best that they can be on and off the court as well.
Sure. So what's the best thing that you've seen this week? Well,
I'm going to go back just a little more than a week.
Okay.
So we had our Special Olympics track and field last week, and there was one part that just had us all in tears. We had 3 young girls that was running their 100-meter, and one of them just took off, and then the other one started running, and she realized the other little girl wasn't running. She was walking because she was scared. And so she stopped, and she went back, and she took her hand, and they walked all the way together, and she made sure she crossed the line the same time as her because she didn't want to leave her behind. And that's really what Special Olympics is all about. It's about everybody being included, and it's not about just being number one and being the winner. It's about, inclusion.
I tell you, some of my favorite clips that you can find of places are stories like that, where, the winner of an event will go over and just hug the guy that they were competing against. And it's all about, like you said, that inclusion, everybody just there supporting each other. They get the medals, but everybody is a winner when it comes to this. And it's a great program. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it here in a minute. And so the best thing for me this week was we had a great Easter service this morning at church. I enjoy seeing everybody all dressed up in their Easter garb and all that. And so that's always a good Sunday morning. Sports-wise, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with the Henry County Patriot soccer team this week, just because my boy plays soccer, and so Henry County 2-0 in the district beat Dixon County this week 2-0 at Patriot Stadium, and they're undefeated and rolling right along. And so, but like I said, Henry County Lady Patriots softball looks like they're going to get to host the district tournament. Of course, we had Renee Laster on last week. Got some baseball guys coming next week from Inman, but Henry County baseball has already wrapped up the district tournament, hosting it at home. And so, just good things going on right now in Henry County. And again, just really appreciate y'all coming on. Jammie, I hope, my first interaction with you really was through Roddy. I know Roddy was, I think somebody told me, there wasn't anything Roddy couldn't do and didn't do at McKenzie. He was a stud at McKenzie High School and over there in Carroll County. And I met you through Roddy. Of course, Roddy coached my son at Inman, and we just loved him, and one of Cade's favorite coaches ever. And so I know talk about being that coach's wife, and you've got kids now, you got grandkids that you get to go see, and they're playing baseball. I think Easton plays baseball, right?
Does,
and so,
yes.
Just you stay busy in the sports world, just in a different capacity than a coach would necessarily.
Yes.
So, and then Roddy, you forgot to mention that you were Mike's bodyguard at the Demolition Derby. Because listen, Mike needs a bodyguard just about everywhere he goes.
At that time, he did. Myself and Tony Hutchinson, man. That derby can get pretty wild at times, man. And some of those guys that come in there, they are rough.
Yeah.
And Mike knew what to say to get them riled up. And he said we'd be over, and he said, "Y'all just go ahead on over. I'll call you if I need you."
Did he ever need you?
No.
Okay, well,
never
good.
did.
That's always a plus. That's a plus. Of course, like I said, I met you through the sheriff's office because we were kind of doing the same. I was working at probation. You were at the sheriff's office. But like I said, you've coached everything there is to coach here just about in Henry County.
Yes, sir.
And has always been involved with the youth in
sir.
some way, shape, form, or capacity. And you said something one time, and my buddy Griffin Wood said this to me one time. He was talking about, there comes a point when you have to stop being the cup that gets filled up and start being the pitcher that's doing the filling.
Yes.
And so, that's kind of the role that you took on
Yes.
with the kids and all that.
Yeah, excuse me. Of course, I didn't grow up with a father. It was my mom. And
Let's move this to you just a little closer.
Okay, I'm sorry. And it was just my mom, and it was a bunch of guys in the community that helped me get to where I got to, and I could say where I am today. And if I could do that for some of the kids that are coming up today, then I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
You got some boys of your own that are
I do.
no strangers to the fans of Henry
sir.
County football,
Yes,
baseball.
sir.
Talk about Peyton and little Rodney for a little bit. And
Well, Bub, little Rodney, he's always been the littlest guy on the field, but he's always been the guy with the biggest heart on the field. And him playing sports, man, he absolutely loved playing. He loved being out there. And when the game was on the line, he wanted to be that guy.
Sure.
And he was. At times when he was. Some of the best plays that he made were like in the semifinals game against the Wade kid at quarterback, Some of those plays he made in those games, and some of the big games where we had to have a stop, and he would step up and make those stops. Now, Peyton, on the other hand, he's my showboat, man. If there's something going down, defense coming up, he didn't really care much about defense football-wise. He didn't really care much about defense, man. He wanted his name on the scoreboard. He wanted to hear people yelling his name. He wanted to make the big plays, and he did. He did. And I am so proud of both my boys because they worked their butts off, and they played hard, and they enjoyed it and having a good time. Now, my daughter, I don't know if you know my youngest daughter, Alea McClain.
okay.
She was a heck of a basketball player as well. She didn't play her senior year, and her junior year, if I remember this correctly, she had over 100 steals her junior year, and she was a heck of a ball player. And then my oldest daughter, she was in the band, and my oldest son was in the band also, and they were pretty awesome as far as in the band and doing the things that they did as well. My oldest daughter, she wanted to play basketball, man. She could shoot the lights out, but she just chose not to play.
I'm glad you mentioned the band because, there's always this debate, is band a sport? But let me tell you, I was in the band for 2 years, and those kids work. They're out there in the summer as well, in the heat, learning routines, practicing, doing those kids. it deserve as much. And I have said this. I got to speak to the band last year, doing a little devotion before the meal for the first home football game, and I told them that it is a different atmosphere when the band is not there.
Agreed.
At a football game, wherever. You have a pet band at a basketball game, and it just changes the atmosphere overall. And so those kids deserve as much credit and recognition as anybody else there at the stadium that night. And and then I'd also Facebook kind of tells us a lot about folks, but y'all are big outdoorsmen as well.
Oh, yes.
So, yes. I see pictures of y'all fishing and hunting and everything else.
Yes, sir. Bub's supposed to be going on a trip here, I think next week, going to Washington State to do a turkey hunt. Last year they went to Oklahoma, and then they went to New Mexico. Oklahoma kicked their butt. They stayed down there for almost a week, and then they went to New Mexico. I think they made it 2 days in New Mexico, and they said, I'm going home.
Yeah, enough of that, right?
Yeah, but Peyton haven't killed one yet. He's been hunting hard, but he ain't got a turkey yet.
He'll get one.
He'll get one.
You talk about, of course, doing basketball or doing baseball games and football and all that. Peyton being the showboat, he's just fun to watch.
Yes.
Bub, you're right. I would not want to be met by Bub in the A gap at any point in any time of my life, because that dude was going to bring it and hit every time that he had the opportunity to do so. Peyton, just fun to watch. Not that Bub wasn't fun to watch, but there's a difference.
Yes, they're different.
They're different, and Peyton just the baseball diamond out there, watching him, he just kind of has this swagger to him, and you can see it.
Yes,
nothing wrong with it. It's a great thing
nothing wrong with
so.
it. And, he plays. He doesn't do the talking. He goes out there and he plays the game. He enjoys playing it.
Yeah. So Jammie, you talked about all the things that you've got going on. Talk about your grandkids a little bit, if you don't mind.
No,
if you don't mind talking
all.
about them a bit. Most grandparents don't mind talking about the grandkids when they have a chance. And so I know, again, you're out at the ballpark a lot with grandkids and keeping up with them and chasing them around.
We do. We have games right now about twice a week, and I enjoy it, watching the kids. I think about when Andy played, when my son played when he was little and he went to Henry School. You didn't see a lot of Henry kids that played sports in town. And so he got to be really good friends with several kids from all the other schools. And then when they all got together at Grove playing basketball, he already knew them all. And so I see that with Easton as well. Easton's in 3rd grade, and he's been playing ball since he was very young. And he also goes to Henry. And so there's just a couple of kids from there that you really see, and all the friends that he is meeting along the way through his baseball and basketball are kids from, all the other schools. And I enjoy seeing that too. I enjoy seeing that they all come out there and, if it's a friend you had on your team last year or you had on your basketball team, it doesn't matter if they're on the other team. They still have that sportsmanship.
Sure.
And so I enjoy seeing that, and I enjoy seeing Easton growing. And just I look at him now and I see a lot of Andy in him from when Andy was little, and I know I'm going to see him continue to grow in that. And then we have Wilder. He just turned 3 yesterday, and so his personality, like you were saying with Bub and Peyton, their personalities are going to be totally different as well. I think Wilder's going to be the more outgoing one, and he's probably going to be the showboat of the two as well. And Easton's going to be more like Bub probably. And so yeah, and then of course I still, I have Roddy's kids are my kids as well, and so I have grandkids that are in Murray as well and in Iowa, and I don't get to see them as much, but the ones in Murray are playing a little t-ball and things too, and and I do look back at that and I think the things that Roddy could have taught them if he was still here, but that's where we have to step up. Like you were saying, Rodney, we have to fill in those gaps, and so that's what I want to see us be able to do, and not just us, but the coaches that I see, Easton have and things like that give to them.
Sure,
that's what it's all about, is community.
When you have guys, I'm going to brag on you, but you have guys like Rodney who, you can tell. I talked about this with Renee last week on the show, but you can just see people like that and tell that they have a heart for the youth of this community, and it shows with the work that you're doing now that we're going to talk about here in just a second. But you have the heart for them that we need other people to continue that, and the way that Rodney Littleton and that you guys are taking care of these kids and teaching them the game, but teaching them life also.
Yes. Yes.
And so,
I have to brag on Rodney because he don't brag on himself enough. But like I said, my grandson goes to Henry, and so Rodney is the SRO out there.
Right.
And so they all those kids, if they're pre-K, if they're in 8th grade, they look up to him because he's not just a police presence there. He's a mentor to all of those kids. And he has fun with them, but he knows how to be serious with them. And so they respect him, and I enjoy seeing the relationship he has with them.
Well, thank you.
that's awesome. Right. Philip Reagan wanted us to say hi to you. He's watching. And so, no pressure, but if his comments come in on Facebook, we may throw them out there. So let's talk about these kids for a little bit. So are y'all excited about being here?
Oh, yes, sir.
Good. Ladrakus is still just a little bit. He's not sure what to think about it. But Jimmy, pull your microphone just a little bit closer to you. There you go. You just pull it. There you go. Just like that. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I played basketball for like 4 years so far. And Mr. Rodney was my football coach when I was little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you played for the Dolphins? Is that right?
Yeah, he played in flag football.
Okay. All right.
It was fun.
It's always a good time, right? Mm-hmm. Now, notice you have on a Houston Oilers cap.
Yeah.
Are you a Tennessee Titan fan, or are you an old school Houston Oiler fan?
I'm both.
Okay. I won't hold that against you. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, no.
And so, we yeah, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Hang on. But so you're playing basketball now, enjoying that?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Ladrakus, how about you? Are you
Yo, good.
good?
Cooking people.
So you guys and Rodney and Jammie, y'all jump in here as well. But you guys went to Nashville back in February, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
tell us about that experience. And I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you out over here, bud. You're good. I'm sorry. But tell us about that experience of going to Nashville and playing basketball and winning these medals that y'all got around your necks.
It was fun.
Here, yeah.
It was fun, and it was enjoyable at the time.
Good.
And there was a lot of people to see there and see how happy they were to play.
Yeah.
And they all seemed like they had fun.
Good. So how many teams did y'all end up playing? Look, there's a picture of y'all right there, when you won with your medals, and so y'all are like y'all are literally the state champions in basketball. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I mean
That's pretty awesome.
that's extremely awesome.
Pretty
You don't no one else walking around here can say that, right?
Right.
Right.
And so just tell us about that experience. Like how many games did y'all have to play to win? Like what's the process of even getting there?
Well, Jammie could fill you in on the process, but I'm gonna tell you something about Brody. He come up to me there, and I think it was the first game. I think it was that I was late getting there. It was second game, excuse me, because I missed the first game. But he come up to me. He said, "Coach," he said, "I played basketball before." He said, "But I ain't never played basketball like this. This is fun."
Well, good. That's what it's all about,
That's
right?
right.
And having a good time. So, but go ahead, Jay. Tell us about like the process of getting there and how that works.
So our area director, Dr. Clinton Smith, he had contacted me and asked me if we had a group that would be able to represent in our Area 7.
Okay.
And so I went through and I thought about what boys I knew that had the love of basketball. And also just had the personality that would be able to go out there with the sportsmanship. And I knew Ladrakus and Jimmy play for Caps. And Zane Kendall's not here tonight, but he's our captain, you might as well say. And he has a big love for it, and he plays travel ball and stuff as well. And so we had others that it was co-ed. And so we ended up with only one girl on the team because Katie, which is Jimmy's sister, was supposed to go with us, and the night before she tested positive for flu. So
goodness.
she didn't get to go, and I feel really bad for that. But so we ended up with one girl on the team. But if you know Kaylee Toll, you'll know it doesn't matter. She's going to get out there and scrap just like the boys did, and she did. And so we just, we were able to go down, and they have different divisions when you go. And so we were in one of the top divisions as far as athletic ability. And we played against some adults. I mean, there were adults on the team. It didn't just go by age.
Sure.
It went by it's ages 16 and up is the oldest bracket, but then we were also in the highest bracket as well. And so these guys went out there, and it didn't matter if they were adults. It didn't matter if they were their age. Not only did they play, but they became friends with the other teams.
That's awesome.
The other teams would seek them out. They would seek the other teams out whenever we would go and eat or just see them watching another game. They made friends with those teams. And there again, that's what sportsmanship is about.
They're awesome. And so, would y'all practice throughout the week? How did that work?
Well, so the story, I was not the original coach.
Okay.
The basketball coach was going to be the coach, but it was during tournament time, so he possibly couldn't make it. So my good buddy Austin Thompson was going to fill in for me. Of course, Austin tore up his knee.
Sure.
So he couldn't go. So I was already on standby anyway. And then she had told me, and I talked to Austin. I was like, uh-oh. So we had one practice. Before we went, we had one practice.
So you guys are so good. Y'all practiced one time and went and won a gold medal?
Yeah.
Y'all must be pretty good at basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your favorite thing to play?
Yeah, I say.
You say? Okay. The Dracus? Kind of.
He is not a talker.
That's all right.
He's a man of few
Man
words.
of few words. That's nothing wrong. As long as you got that medal around your neck,
That's
you can
right.
walk around as a man of few
That's
words.
right.
And
But when he
everything's
gets
fine.
on that court,
Oh, man.
he lets it go.
He's lights
so.
out, man. And these kids, man, I was shocked. I mean, we practiced that one day, and, of course, I put in two defenses.
Sure.
And, of course, they all have a little basketball experience, the majority of them. And put two defenses in. I'm not an X and O's guy when it comes to offense in basketball. I'm just not, never have been. And so I told him, I said, look, we're going to run motion offense. We're going to keep moving. If you're standing still, you're wrong. And if you can stand still on the court, you can come over here and stand still by me. So, and those guys, with Zane running the point, man, it was just unreal what those kids did, man. They got out there and they were balling. They were getting after it. Fast break, nobody could keep up with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they were running and gunning and pulling up. The Drake was hitting threes from the corner, man. And Jammie playing defense. I mean, it was awesome to watch. Kaylee playing defense. She had a couple of steals in the tournament. Man, it was awesome.
I remember you talk about Zane. He and Zion used to come over to the house and play basketball in the back. I think Zane used to come to play basketball. I think Zion was there to flirt with Kenna a little bit. But if you know Zion, that makes sense. But yeah, so. Yeah, I know Zane just loves basketball. Like I said, y'all obviously what you're doing because to go and win the gold medal. How exciting was that when you're standing there on that platform and you're announced as the gold medalist state champions and they put those medals around your neck?
Oh, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome experience.
So, but you've played. So, is basketball your favorite sport to play, Jimmy, or do you like football more, or what?
Football is one of my second favorite sports.
Okay.
Basketball has to be number one.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. I always enjoyed playing basketball. I was never that great at it. I could hold my own, I guess, but I'm sure you guys could probably put me through the woodshed on the basketball court right now. But listen, we got to take a break. We're going to hear another word from our sponsors real quick, but then we'll be back after these messages and talk some more with these guys about the program and Special Olympics and all that in general. Be right back.
Hey friends, Junior Staggs with Auctioneer University, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be one of the sponsors of a brand new show that's going to be produced by my friends at Bruce Street Mafia and Kell Media. It's called SportsCast with Jammie Buckelew. It'll be recorded live every Sunday night at 7:30. So if you're into sports, I like Alabama football. Maybe you're a Tennessee fan. Maybe you're into one of those foreign sports like soccer or cricket or rugby. I'm sure he'll cover it all, from local sports to professional sports and everything in between, every Sunday night, 7:30. While you're at it, go over there and give him a like. And if you're thinking about becoming an auctioneer, check out our website, Auctioneer U. That's auctioneer, the letter U.com.
In a world that moves way too fast, there's one place that feels like home. Tater's Place in Paris, Tennessee, where the sizzle of a smash burger meets the sound of laughter and every plate tells a story. Bring the family, make memories, and taste the love in every bite. Live music, real people, and unforgettable food. That's Tater's Place, 3615 Highway 79 North. Find the flavor you've been missing at Tater's Place. Come and feel what you've been hungry for.
Back here at SportsCast with Jammie Buckelew, want to remind you that on Tuesday night, April 22nd at 7 o'clock, you can catch the Mike Weatherford Show. He'll have Junior Stags on this week, one of our sponsors here at SportsCast, so please be sure to check that out as Junior talks about his new book that he has coming out, From Song to Page. This past weekend, he had a great event down at the Parlor in Puryear where had a music night, and I'm telling you, there's nothing Junior can't do. He's a TikTok auctioneer. One of the kids we go mentioned, I've seen him on TikTok, and so he's TikTok famous as the TikTok auctioneer. He's a singer songwriter. He's now a published author, and just he's coaching softball. I hope to have him on the show at some point to talk about his coaching and all that. But Junior Stags will be on the Mike Weatherford Show this week, Tuesday night, April 22nd at 7 o'clock. Please be sure to check that out. And then also on Good Day Paris every Thursday evening at 6:30. You can catch that on the myparistv.com page or MyParisTV YouTube. And so Facebook Live as well, 6:30. Good Day Paris. Check them out as well, another Keel Media production, and appreciate them. And then don't forget also about the Tennessee Informer with Dave Vance, 7 o'clock live on YouTube. And that will be Monday, April 21st at 7 o'clock. You can catch that episode, Time to Topple the 14th Amendment. We'll see what William J. Watkins Jr., an author and independent research fellow, has to say about that. And so back here on SportsCast with Rodney Littleton and Jammie Adkinsson and some of the kids that play. And so last week or a couple weeks ago, y'all had your big event out at the high school.
Yes. Talk
about that a little bit. And what schools come together for that? Who all is involved in that? And discuss that a little bit.
This was our 41st year to have our Paris Henry County Special Olympics. It started 41 years ago, of course, with Mr. Jack Watkins. Okay. He started Special Olympics here in Henry County, and it's always PSSD and Henry County school system all together. So we had every school in Henry County was there, kindergarten through 12th grade. I guess it was about 24 years ago when I started with the school system. I was just a teacher assistant then, and I worked with Mr. Jack, and so I began helping him with Special Olympics. He would give me all of his rosters. He'd give me everything, and I'd type it up, and then as the years went along, he taught me more and more. And when he was ready to retire, he just fully handed it over. So I've had Special Olympics. So you're in charge of that now? Yes. So I'm our Paris Henry County director for that. And so, like I said, it's been 24 years I've been involved with it. And basically any student that has any type of disability, it can be physical, it can be intellectual, it can be just any type of disability, they just have to go and get a physical from their doctor, and Special Olympics is very thorough with that. Sure. And so then they can participate. And so for Henry County, we had the mini javelin throw, and then we have standing long jump, and then we have our walks and our runs. Usually we do 50 and 100 meters. Okay. And so that's what we did last week. We had 99 students that participated. Awesome. And many more that were there to cheer them on. I was
going to say, one of the things that I love about it is I think that I know the high school students come and watch and cheer on the athletes, which is always a great thing to see. These students supporting other students that they are in the hallways with every day anyway, but supporting them in that way. But so several events, and then they do like I know they have an award ceremony as well, right?
So we had opening ceremonies first. So we typically will let one of our senior athletes, they walk in the torch, and then we had others holding the banner. And so all the athletes and helpers walk in and march in with them. And then our madrigals, they always sing for us. They do the national anthem. Also, we have our Lakeway Kiwanis Club. They help us run. Typically, I have students from the high school that help me run the track events. And then the field events is what our Kiwanis, they run those. And then we had our Paris Pickleball Club. They came and grilled for everybody and did all the lunches. So I want to thank them for doing that for us. And Kiwanis has done that as long as I can remember. They've always provided the support for us there. And then Race School even brought a really big group down too, and so it was a lot of fun seeing them cheer for their friends as well. And it's just we try to make that as big an event as we can. They'll go May the 9th. They'll go to Union City, and they'll do track and field there, and they'll participate in that's our Area 7 event. And so there'll be, all of our area around will be at that one. And then I'm taking these 3 guys, and I'm taking 8 in all, and we're going to go back to state. Okay. And we're going to be at Lipscomb again, and they'll be doing the track and field. And Ladracus and Jammie went last year to track and field and won medals in their events. And I keep telling Ladracus and Zane that I really want to see them on our track team at the high school because you just wouldn't believe. And so...
Ladracus, what event do you run in track?
I don't even know.
Do you run? Do you?
Oh, yeah, I run.
Okay.
I'm like a Zaire Warrior out there.
I think I saw a video of Ladracus and Zane racing.
Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't tell who won that race, though. Ladracus, who won between you and Zane?
Last week, who won?
Zane.
Barely.
Barely.
He barely beat me.
So you'll get him next time, though, right?
Yep.
All right.
Now, that was probably the best race of the day when they were our very last race. And from where we were standing, I couldn't tell. I just couldn't tell either.
I know they were moving.
They were.
They were moving.
And then they said, we want to run further than that. So they ran the 100. Okay. And so I have them down for the 200 for state because they wanted to run further.
Sure.
So.
Are you excited about it? Looking forward to it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
You've been good.
So I realize with it being at the high school, I don't know, I'm just asking this question because I don't know the answer to it. With it being at the high school, is that open to the public? Like, can anybody come up there and watch these events and support these kids, or is it kind of a closed?
No, they can.
Okay.
It's open to the public. We always make sure all the parents know. We try to put it out there. Our Henry County school system posted it before, and yes, we have that open. The newspaper always comes. Shannon McFarland. We try to make this as big of an event as we can for our students.
Sure, and so that's every April, I assume, is when the big event for here is anyway. And then my other question is, like, you talked about all of these organizations that help, and I know with basketball, I saw on I think it was your Facebook or maybe Jamie's Facebook that she was thanking all of these people. I mean, y'all are the coaches of the basketball team, but there were a lot of folks helping y'all behind the scenes as well to make this happen, get these kids to Nashville taken care of, right? Talk about that and those folks who help out. Uh-oh, I put you on the spot.
Keep giving me the look. So I will say definitely one of the things about Rodney, they couldn't get him a cover that day at work, and so we all left really early that day. And his wife, Yvette Littleton, which also works for the school system, she drove a vehicle and I drove a vehicle so that we could get all the athletes there, and we took them to lunch, and we got there early enough for the coaches meeting and for the opening ceremonies. Sure. And then we went into our first game, and I'm just going to tell you, I've always said, I could tell them how to get out there and play. I just couldn't show them. Well, I had to do that because Rodney did not get there until the very last quarter of the game. And so...
Hey, you got there at some point. That's all that matters, right?
I was on the phone with them during the game. They were on the phone. I gave them the lineup over the phone.
He did. I'm like,
told him what to
who
do.
do you want to start and where? And he goes, well, tell them to just think about practice. So I'm like, where were you in practice? That's where you go. Where were you? And it was just funny. And then I was like, okay, I need to sub in. I was like, who did you sub in for at practice? Go sub in for them. And I could do all the general stuff. I could yell and tell them what to do. But when it came to like exactly where they needed to be and who they were covering, I was like, I played it off real well. And then when Rodney came in, we were all like, yeah. yes, he's here. And so they were so excited to see him come in, and he does. He brings a whole different level to it.
Well, she say that, and when I walked in the gym, we were winning by 20.
Yeah,
So
you know.
it ain't like you needed me.
How many of those points did you guys have? So how many points did you score, Jimmy? Do you know? Okay, just plenty, right? Enough. Right, you scored enough to win. Obviously, the Drakus, 10. All right, and
Sorry, Brody.
yeah, go for it, Brody. How many?
I really don't know because I didn't score any.
But-
I mainly just passed.
Okay. Hey, that's just as important. I mean, if you don't get the ball to who's open and find those people, you're not going to score a bunch of points anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
That's right.
everybody has a role, and you filled that role perfectly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Good. And so, Brody, I hadn't got to talk to you just a whole lot. So you enjoy basketball. What else do you enjoy doing?
Well, not much.
Now, wait a minute. You were saying before we came on the air that like you're really big into anime and all that,
Yes,
right?
I
And
am.
so, I mean, what other stuff other than anime? You like basketball, obviously?
Yeah.
You're talking about playing football,
Yeah.
right? You want to play football. So, what's your favorite sport play? I asked Jimmy and Ladrakus. I didn't get to ask you. What's your favorite sport that you play?
Well, I really don't have one, but when I was young, around 5, I played T-ball.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Good. Again, I played baseball for a little while. Wasn't any good at it. Did all right. Held my own, but what's your favorite thing about T-ball? Because I know Miss Jammie could get out there and give you some T-ball lessons, I'm sure, because I've seen on Facebook where her grandkids all play and baseball and all that. So.
I really don't remember much from when I was playing.
Okay.
But from what my mother told me, I just played around.
Hey, at that age, if you stay on the field the whole game, that's a win.
That's
right?
a win.
It's a
That's
good
a
ball
win.
game if you've got 9 or 11 kids still on the
Yeah,
field
exactly
at the end
right.
of the night. So, appreciate you guys and the work that you're doing. Thank y'all for coming and being on the show. You're welcome back at any time. Just come on back and hang out, and we'll talk some more sports and that kind of stuff. All right?
All right.
So, I guess one of my last questions for you is, like, what can the community do to help you guys out?
Well, I will say when we were getting ready to go, we have never been. I mean, this was the first team to ever even go, and we want to do much more of that. And we were unprepared. I mean, we didn't have anything. Rodney, literally, when I get there at the first game, they were like, "So, where's your game? Where's your game ball?" And I was like, "The coach has it, and he's not here yet." And so they let us borrow one, and then Rodney ran out and bought one. As far as uniforms, the Coach Miller did donate uniforms, and they're uniforms that they don't use anymore,
Okay.
so we have those. But the biggest thing was trying to keep up with all their stuff. And so we were like, we've got to figure out bags. Like, we've got to get them some kind of bags, because we would have rolls of just all their stuff everywhere.
Sure.
And Miss Yvette had to keep up with all their
Yes.
stuff, you know. So it's just that we're getting started with the basketball, and we really, that's our big thing, is we're going to have to do some kind of fundraiser or something to get them the equipment that they need. Because we go in and all these other teams are coming in, and they had all this stuff. I mean, they look like a,
Matching bags, matching uniforms. They
mean,
look sharp.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. We took the gold home, though.
I was
But we
gonna ask-
did. We
I was going to
did.
say, so was there any point when these teams walk in and look all professional, or you get this little bit of like, oh man, what are we going to do? Or are y'all just like, let's get after it, fellas. We're ready.
I just say let's go after it.
That's all you can do.
I'm
Right?
gonna tell you honestly, I didn't see until the championship game, which we played a team that we had already beat, and they weren't intimidated by anybody. Anybody that they stepped on the floor with, they were not intimidated. Like I said, the last game they kind of got in our heads a little bit, and they thought that if we stopped Zane, we got them.
Right. Not the case.
That was a mistake.
How much y'all ended up winning that game by? Was it close? Was it? But at any point was it close?
No, and I think at one point they had got within 5 or 6, I think, and they tried to get us in foul trouble and get Zane in foul trouble, And I had to call a timeout to get them over and settle them down. And I told them, I said, look, they can't stop y'all. So when we get our hands on the basketball, we're going to run. And we're going to run the floor. And when they come down with the ball, we're going to get in their face, and we're going to be all over them. We're going to tip the ball away. We're going to get down the court, and we're going to shoot layups all day long. And I think we ended up beating them by 15, I think.
Wow. I mean, I can't say just how awesome that is, that what y'all do. And I hope that as people watch this episode, that they can get behind these kids as much as they get behind the Patriots on Friday night, as much as they get behind basketball and baseball and softball. I mean, we have crowds everywhere we go. There's no reason that these kids can't play in front of a full Henry County crowd the way that the other teams get to play.
Agreed.
And so I just want to encourage you folks that are watching tonight to get out and support these kids in whatever way you can. So where can they find the information as far as events? And I know you said that in April is the big event at the school. Where else? So talk about Union City coming up in a few weeks.
So there is an Area 7 Special Olympics Facebook page.
Okay.
That'll have any events that we have going on for our area events. As far as our local, then our school system tries to keep that up, and I try to post it on my Facebook as well. And then our state games would still be on our Area 7 Facebook page. So that'll be, and Dr. Smith, he takes pictures of everything. Like he's a photographer as well. And he always posts a lot of really good pictures as well, like if parents want to go on there and find pictures of their students and stuff. And so it's just, that would probably be the best place to find information. And anybody can always contact me at the school system if they ever have a question about when we're doing something, or if they have a child that they think might want to be involved. I do not mind at all answering questions and helping.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate what you guys do, and I know these guys appreciate it as well. And again, I want to thank y'all for coming on. I hope you had a good time. And listen, you got to go win more state medals so you can come back and talk about winning those state medals next time. All right? Is that a fair deal? What'd you say, Ladrakus? Too easy? Well, good. Hey, sounds good to me.
Depends on what it is.
Okay. Well, go. Hey, just. Go have fun with it, right? That's what we always tell our kids. Just go have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. Do the best you can. If you win, wonderful. But if not, that's okay too. Just go enjoy it. But it is pretty impressive seeing y'all with those medals around your necks, I will say. All right? So best of luck to y'all. Hey, again, thank you for tuning in tonight to SportsCast. I want to thank Rodney. I want to thank Jammie for the work that they do with these kids. Thanks, Brody, Jimmy, Ladrakus. Appreciate you guys coming by. And listen, plenty of opportunity to support them and get out, and you've heard what they need. So if you're able to help do that, we encourage you to do so. But just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Want to remind you that next week we will have Coach Corden Height and Cole Culpepper from Inman School talking about baseball and basketball and all the stuff that they're involved with there. But that'll be a good show as well. So tune in next week to SportsCast Live with Jammie Buckelew here on at the Brewer Street Mafia Studios at 7:30. And check out everything going on with the Inman Bulldogs baseball next Sunday night. Thank you again for listening. Happy Easter to you. Greatest day in history when death was defeated and Christ rose to offer salvation to all of us. And so happy Easter. Thank you for tuning in. As always, be good to yourselves and each other. We'll see you next week.